Today's video is sponsored by Squarespace. In the world of film photography, there are a few formats that really stand out as something unique and special. And 6x17, for me, even though it took some time to get used to, quickly became one of them. And if you want to shoot these wider medium format frames, there's only a handful of camera options out there. So today I want to share my experience with a newer and intriguing offering and what I think is a great way to get into this format, the Noble Design ND617. So this review actually started at the beginning of this year. Noble Design reached out to see if I'd be interested in trying out this camera for a bit. This isn't like a sponsored or paid review for them. I was just very curious about this thing and shot with this for about a month and a half, got out a few different locations and kind of had mixed feelings about the results at first. I just was struggling a little bit with the wider format, then just got super busy, sent the camera back to them. And then recently, about a month ago, they sent it back to me and I've been shooting with it since just to finish up this video. And since then, I really have started to fall in love with 6x17. Today, I want to share that journey with you, obviously the image making, but also my thoughts on the 617 by Noble Design as a panoramic camera option. The ND617 is made here in England. It's a custom lightweight camera that uses large format lenses and an iPhone for a viewfinder. And this camera is made using an industrial 3D printing process. And at first glance, it seems very solid, with nice attention to detail. They also offer interchangeable backs, so you can shoot 6x12 as well. And when it comes to pricing, the ND617 currently costs £875 without a lens. So in comparison, similar to or maybe just a bit more expensive than 6x17 backs for large format, and quite a bit cheaper than the Fuji 617 cameras, which are going nowadays for minimum £2,000 plus. So depending on where you find your lens and assuming you already have a phone to use, you could be into this setup for just over £1,000, which makes it pretty intriguing. So with this camera, I was sent a Schneider Super Angulon 90mm f8 lens, but you can also use a Nikkor SW 90mm f8 as well. So a couple of options to choose from.
So this camera uses an iPhone as its viewfinder, just with the viewfinder app and then the wide lens on this. And it's actually quite nice, you know, the way this is designed, it has magnets. So for the cable release and for the phone holder, it just snaps right on. Really well built, super solid, and quite nice to use. Okay, good to go here. I think I'm going to shoot this. Interesting focusing with this camera. It has, it's called a helical, I believe is how you pronounce that. Basically, you have your distance readouts and you set whatever your distance is you want to focus at. So obviously, I don't have a way to measure that right now, so I'm just kind of guessing. So right now, I have this set at 20 meters, which is probably putting me right kind of into where the cascade is there, which, fingers crossed, should be good. I am shooting at f32, so I think I'll have plenty of depth of field to get everything in focus, but yeah, I'm gonna shoot this.
So I shot 2 frames at this location, both quite similar, just one a little closer than the other. And right away I could see the potential with this format. I would say it takes a specific location to find balanced compositions, but 6x17 definitely brings with it new creative opportunities. So the ND617 is a pretty straightforward camera. There's obviously no movements with this, which is something you only really find if you're using like a panoramic back on large format, or if you're using like a dedicated 617 film camera. So with this, you have the helical to focus, and then you just have, as mentioned, the mount for the iPhone or the Android phone, magnetic mount for the cable release as well. You have this little window here at the back, so you can look at your frame number on the backing paper when you're advancing, and then you just have these spirit levels on the top. So really simple, I do enjoy that quite a bit though, and even more than that, a huge appeal for the work that I do is just the weight of this and how light it is. So the ND617 weighs in with a lens at 1,035 grams, so really nice for hiking, definitely not gonna weigh you down. Okay, back to the video in a second, some more image making. Just have to quickly talk about the sponsor of today's video, which is Squarespace. So if you've been wanting to build a website for your work, Squarespace is a great platform to do just that. What I've come to love about them is just the ease of use and the quality of templates. You can set up a portfolio in minutes without any previous experience, choosing from a wide range of clean and stylish designs that are customizable with endless design options, and also just really simple features like clicking and dragging to reorder gallery images, which is something that I absolutely love. You can also set up a shop to sell prints, books, zines, and other things like that. So check out squarespace.com today for your free trial, and when you're ready to launch, you can use my link below to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or a domain. So after a couple of unsuccessful shoots at some other spots, I did feel like I was starting to get used to working with this wider frame. And I found a really interesting old abandoned church in South Wales that felt like was going to be a good fit, just with some interesting elements, the gravestones, the vista, and the building itself. And I was quite excited about this spot. So I ended up shooting 2 images at this spot, and I actually really enjoy the composition of both of them. I think this location is great for this wider format, but I did choose to shoot black and white, and I'm not completely sold on the results. I feel like under these conditions with all of the green, it just felt like a little flat, like there wasn't much separation. So I knew I wanted to come back here to shoot some color. And when I got the camera back a few months later, this was the first spot I decided to come. Unfortunately, being the middle of summer now, this place was way overgrown, so had to search for a new composition, but still lots of potential here. So when it comes to the viewfinder for this camera, obviously using the phone and the viewfinder app, I could see this being either hit or miss for some people. Personally, I actually really like it. I use this app for 4x5 to preview sometimes. Obviously with the 6x17 frame and a wide lens here on an iPhone, it gives you a really nice preview of this 90mm. And I'll be curious how just like dead on precise it is with this image, because I am framing these trees up quite close to the top of the frame. But other than that, I mean, you get a color black and white preview, really nice to look at. It has a built-in light meter that I think some people use and are happy with. I still use the external meter. But the only downside or negative, for me at least, is the fact that essentially the viewfinder for this camera is battery powered. So say if your battery dies, or if you forgot to charge your phone or forgot your phone, you'd be out of luck. There's no manual option unless you could match up like an optical viewfinder. But other than that, you know, as long as you got your phone charged, I really like using this to frame up shots. So really cool to see that the framing was accurate. And I have to say, I much prefer the color work here, and maybe somewhere I'll have to come back in the fall to revisit the other frames. So I wrapped up my time with the ND617 at one more location, kind of a chance encounter down in the south of England, but a place that I really enjoyed and made my favorite work yet. So I found this awesome old garage with some classic cars right as the sun was going down, and photographed it right through sundown into the evening and through blue hour, and I made some photos that I was really happy with. This scene I found worked really well for wider compositions, which, as mentioned before, I think is one of the biggest challenges when shooting 617. But these challenges aren't always a bad thing. They keep you on your toes, and it was fun going out and looking at the landscape in a new way. So overall, you know, I did enjoy shooting with this camera system, and the panoramic format is definitely something that grew on me the more I worked with it. I will say though, you know, I don't know if I'd necessarily invest in 617 right now, just because I'm shooting 4x5. I don't know if I'd have like a specific use for this wider format. It would be like maybe a little bit more of like a novelty type thing, which of course there's nothing wrong with. But if you are looking to get into 617, you know, I think this camera's a good option. Like I said, I enjoyed the simplicity of it, really liked the viewfinder app, and then it just felt nice and solid and it got the job done. So anyways, hope you enjoyed this look at the ND617. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll put a link below to their website if you want to learn more about this. And other than that, just want to say thank you for watching, and I will see you very soon.